All right, how are you guys doing on this fine Friday night? A lot of excitement, thank you. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm excited. There's going to be a really fun show. This is Temple's nightly talk show, so this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited you guys are here. So let's get going. I performed a couple of weeks ago in Oregon, Dallas, Oregon, which is basically the outskirts of Salem, which is the outskirt of Portland, which is interesting to perform over there. Two of the comics who are fantastic were wearing this camo hunting jacket, and they thought it was important to let the audience know that they weren't trying to pander by wearing those camo jackets. So I just kind of want to tell you guys that I, on the other hand, am. Yeah. This is for you guys. Generally, I just wear a tuxedo. Yeah, so my name is Abhishek, and my preferred pronouns are he, him, and my preferred adjectives are agreeable and occasionally magnificent. Yeah. I'm not religious, but there was a point of time when I had this idea of becoming a born-again Christian, but I aborted the idea after 6 weeks. Yeah. That joke kills anywhere outside of Texas. Maybe I'll try it in Texas one day, but that's plan B. Alright. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, it's like I never thought that Jesus turning water to wine was a miracle. I thought what would have been a miracle if he turned regular people into really pretentious sommeliers. It's like every time there's a communion, people are like tasting the wine and they're like, this body of Christ doesn't really pair well with the blood of Christ. Yeah. It's like eating a Chilean sea bass with a robust Bordeaux. But yeah, I moved here last year from Boston, so I drove across country, and I really enjoyed. I really love being in Eugene. It's a lot of fun, and I moved here because my wife got a job here, and I just kind of quit my job and I moved here, and we've been going strong 10 years now. Yeah, and the relationship really works. She's a person of color. She's white, so from my point of view. No, the relationship really works because I have ingrained immigrant shame and she has ingrained white guilt. So I never speak up and she never speaks down. And what keeps the wheel of this marriage greased, ironically, is this circle jerk of self-doubt. Yeah. But yeah, so these days I don't work, I'm in school, and I'm taking classes to a bunch of 20-year-olds, which is fantastic. I'm learning a lot of new cultural and social norms, and it's just really wonderful. And I was trying to ask my niece, who's a really cool 17-year-old, how do I fit in? And she was like, all you have to do is just, when you say about, don't say about, just drop that A and just say bout. That will make you sound cool. And it's subtle, but let me tell you, dropping that A reduced like 10 years of my colloquial age. Yeah. Speak like a 28-year-old now. It's still not great, but it works. But yeah, when I'm not in school, I run a lot of errands, and I was wondering, has anyone gone to Target and missed it? Yeah. I mean, the other day I went there to buy sauerkraut, and people always find that weird, but I did try Home Depot before I went to Target. They didn't have sauerkraut. Yeah, but I went to Target, and then I kind of realized that sauerkraut is basically German kimchi, and kimchi is basically German sauerkraut. And coleslaw is a giant American fuck you to both. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I don't understand is beef jerky. Like, why is it called jerky? It just, the name just didn't make any sense. And then I Then I tasted it and I realized that I guess calling it beef rigor mortis is not appetizing at all. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I was trying to do something nice for my wife, so I was like, it's her birthday's coming up, so I was looking up something to buy for her, and then randomly, like, this product came up. It's edible panties, you know. It's like, that makes no sense. I mean, it's a non-solution to a non-problem. If you're hungry, I feel a sandwich would be much more satiating. Yeah. Another thing I came across was these Speedos that have been made from used water bottles, which is fantastic, you know, because I love recycling. But I thought, like, if it was the other way around, I wouldn't like it. If water bottles were made from used Speedos. Yeah, that would be terrible. One thing I do miss about the East Coast are the bagels. You know? Yeah, just the bagels are so fantastic. And I always went for the plain bagels. You know, most people go for everything bagel because that's like the highest ROI, return on your investment. I always go for the plain bagel because a plain bagel is basically everything bagel that lost everything bagel. Because capitalism is a zero-sum game. You know, little guy needs a win. Yeah. You know, another American cultural food is ants on a log. And a couple of years ago, somebody told me about it, and they were like, "Oh, it's an American cultural food." I was like, "All right." Turns out it's just peanut butter and celery. You know, and they really loved eating that. They told me like it's like the best thing they've eaten. And then I tried it, and I realized when people tell you they love to eat peanut butter and celery, what they're saying is that they love to eat peanut butter. Yeah. I mean, the celery is just there to kind of preserve their dignity, which would be lost if they just dip their hand in the jar. Celery is low in calories, but it is really high in disappointment. Really high. Yeah. Love my mother-in-law, wonderful woman, and she's coming to visit us very soon. But one thing is that she complains a lot about having pins and needles in her feet, you know, always pins and needles, pins and needles. And I'm always like, what's the difference? Yeah. I mean, how do you know the pricking hierarchy of a pin or a needle unless you're like a seamstress with a heroin addiction? You know? It's like you're sewing something and, oh, that's a pin, you know? It's time to do my heroin. Whoop, that's a needle. Like, I've never understood that. And plus, I feel like it would be so much more interesting if she said that, oh, I'm feeling cactuses and rosemary in my feet. Because that would make me question, like, what kind of life path she has led that made her step bare feet on a porcupine, you know, or cactus. Yeah. I messed that one up a little bit. You know, another thing is like we gave her our Disney password, Disney Plus. And the weird thing is like every time now I log on to Disney Plus, I see like this chain of people under us. So I feel like we're running this weird pyramid scheme where the only people who are getting fucked are the ones at the top. It's really odd. But yeah, me and my wife, we love watching Disney Plus, and I love eating popcorn while watching Disney Plus. Here's the thing, if you're making popcorn in a microwave and if you're wondering how long has it been since the last corn popped, it's too late, it's done. Yeah, just take that bag and bury it in the backyard, unless you want your house to smell like failure. Yeah. You know, something that popped up on my Disney queue was Ant-Man and the Wasp, this movie. And that was kind of confusing because I thought Ant-Man was the Wasp. Because white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Turns out he is. Yeah. Alright, I'll finish up with my last joke. Another American cultural phenomena, like a yo mama joke. So here's my joke. So I've been working on this for a bit. Your mama's so fat that when she travels out of America, when she leaves America for travel, she leaves behind the antiquated notions of beauty and finally gets the attention she deserves. Alright, you guys, there's a really fun show coming up. It's written by Temple, Jen, and Diana. And here's your host, Temple the Bard.
Hey everybody, I'm Temple the Bard. Thank you for being here today. This is Temple the Bard's Traveling Talk Show, episode number 2. Episode number 1 was in a galaxy far away a long time ago, before COVID. I was like 5 years old then, because it's been like, 39 years since COVID started? That's about what it feels like. Anyway, I'm not one of those comics that talks about that a whole lot, so we're gonna move on a little bit. So anyway, it's in the news a lot these days. Like, you see it just about every week. You know, some dumbass, like, blows half of his hand off with some dynamite, or some jackass flies an airplane into the side of the mountain, all in service of gender reveal parties. I tell you what, these violent-ass gender reveal parties have got to go. I've got a far better, far safer alternative, and it goes a little something like this. You rent an Airbnb out in a rural area. You get your party together for your gender reveal, and you get your people there, and you get them in some sort of enclosed area, like a front yard with a fence, or maybe a pig pen or something like that. And you just get them there ready. Like, all right, you ready for the reveal? Here we go. And you hire an out-of-work crop duster pilot, and there's a lot of those because these days the combine harvesters can spray the insecticide all over the fields. The pilots are sitting there in the pilot bars drinking all day. They're a dime a dozen, So you hire yourself an out-of-work crop duster pilot, and basically you give them this giant load of rattlesnakes, all of them defanged, except for one. And then you get the pilot to fly over, and right when they're crop dusting your people, they drop the load of snakes, and they're like, what's going on? Oh my God, it's snakes! They're falling from the sky! Oh my God, rattlesnakes! And they're all freaking out and running, and you're just watching the shit show. You're watching the fur fly. And all of a sudden, somebody gets bit. And it's like, oh, I've got bit! I've been bit! Anyway, the gender of the person who got bit, that's the gender the baby's gonna be. It's not foolproof, but it's more effective than sonograms these days, I'll tell you that much. And the thing is, there is one thing that can go wrong with that. Like, if you get a really skittish pilot and, they're flying towards the drop site and they're a few miles away over the Costco on the way there, and they just start freaking out and they go, you know what? I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. And then they drop the whole load of snakes early over a Costco parking lot, and there's some lady in the parking lot who just went to buy a rotisserie chicken and a couple of pallets of bottled water, and she's like, snakes are falling. Oh my God, snakes are falling from the sky! I just came here to get a slice of pizza and a soda and buy a couple things, and now it's biblical and shit. It's just like my Sunday school teacher told me. Except I've forgotten how to pray. God. So I love Eugene. It's a beautiful place. It's kind of weird. The other day somebody invited me to go baby tasting. I know it sounds horrifying. Yeah, absolutely horrifying. I was a little shocked. Like, what are you talking about, baby tasting? That sounds a little weird. And she's like, no, it's not weird. It's like you go to the local fairgrounds and people bring their babies and line them up on the picnic tables, and then you just go and you lick their foreheads, and then you rate it for like saltiness, sourness, acidity, etc. Write your verdict on the judge's card, rinse your mouth out, and then go taste the next baby. And when you're done, you turn in the judge's card, and the baby who tastes the best wins. And what they win is a $500 free play credit at the casino in Florence. What? That sounds insane. She's like, no, it's great. There's like food trucks and live bands, and there's an eating contest for former child stars. Danny Bonaducci vomited all over the first 3 rows last year. It was intense. It was like Gallagher doing a gig at a vomitorium in ancient Rome or something. Like, okay, this sounds nuts. And she's like, no, it's not nuts, it's great. And you really have to check out the electric glory holes. I'm like, electric glory holes? I don't think so. Like, I haven't been doing comedy for long, but if I've learned anything from doing comedy, it's that you do not stick your wee-wee into any holes. I mean, not unless you want Bob Odenkirk dressed as a milking machine to give you a stuck and suck for 6 or 7 hours. no. She's like, oh, come on, you always have the dirtiest mind. The Electric Glory Holes, the best Grateful Dead band, or Grateful Dead cover band Junction City has to offer. Why do you always go dirty? I'm like, well, you know, this is me you're talking about. I always go a little bit dirty. Yeah, this is a beautiful place. You know, I just love you all. Thank you for being here. I'm actually overcome a little bit by emotion. Like, you know how like when you do a thing and then you don't do a thing again for years, and then like when you're doing that thing again, it's almost like you just pick up where you left off. It's like I feel like I'm picking up where I left off in January of 2020 after the last show, and a little cognitive dissonance up here, enough to make me forget my third joke. Anyway, I'm no Johnny Carson or Conan O'Brien, so I don't need to stretch this monologue out any further. I'd like to welcome our sidekick for tonight, one of Eugene's funniest comics. She's fabulous, she's fierce, and she's going to be entertaining you alongside the rest of our performers all night long. Please welcome to the stage, Jen J.
Thank you so much, Temple.
How are you tonight?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here. Yay!
Excellent. Yeah, so what have you been up to lately?
I've been watching a lot of horror movies.
A lot of horror movies?
Yes, yeah, Getting real spooky at my house. Yeah.
Right on.
Learning the nuances of like Michael Myers versus Leatherface.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you know that in the fourth, nobody should watch actually, the fourth Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Just don't watch it.
Okay. I
It's so
won't.
bad.
I'm skittish. Like, I watched Bambi and I was scarred for life.
This is basically Bambi, you know, but with chainsaws.
Chainsaw Bambi.
Yeah.
Ooh, kinky. Yeah. As for me, I've been spending a lot of time doing online shopping. Have you ever checked out that site Wish before?
Oh goodness, yes.
This is the craziest
Gone
shit
down
on Wish.
the Wish rabbit hole.
The Wish rabbit hole. The other day, I saw what I swear to God was like a sex doll for dogs. It was like little Rover's best friend.
Whoa.
Now with environmental silica gel channel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sounds scratchy.
I know. It sounds terrible. And, you know, I'm imagining, like, you know, if your dog goes to town and has a good old time, that's all well and good, but who's supposed to clean out the environmental silica gel channel afterwards?
There's a come and go joke in there somewhere. I'll be here all week.
Well, I tell you what, though, I wish I had one of those environmental silica gel channels when I was young, you know? All I had was panties I stole from my mom.
Oh.
And then after that, all I had was panties I stole from the thrift store after my dad yelled at me for stealing panties from my mom. Do you have a childhood lingerie story?
Do I? I did have childhood lingerie, it's true. It was lacy booty shorts. It was see-through negligee. It's true. But don't get weird about it, guys. Jeez, come on, don't get weird. It's fine. I never did anything sexy in my childhood lingerie. I would just go jump ramps on my dirt bike, you know, my childhood lingerie. I put it on with my like boys Velcro sneakers, you know.
Yeah.
Be like, come on, Gramps. We got to mend that fence. Hand me that hammer. Let's go. You know, it wasn't weird at all for me.
No, not at all, apparently.
It's cool.
Your formative years sound a little less traumatic than my formative years.
It formed something.
Right on. So are you ready? You ready to get to our first little bit?
I'm so ready. I'm so excited. Let's do it.
Excellent. All right, so it's time for a little bit here. I'd like to call up to the stage an amazing comedian in the vein of Lewis Black, but far more entertaining to me, at least. I would say at bare minimum a treasured acquaintance and quite possibly a good friend of mine, depending on whether he stabs me or not after the show, which is at least a small possibility. Let's everybody give a big welcome to Mike Lehmans.
Yay!
Awesome. Did I give you a mic yet? Oh, you don't have a mic yet. Uh-oh. Logistical failure. Where'd your mic
More of
go?
a challenge. It's cool.
All right.
It's how you know I was a fucking guest.
Yes. 3 mics, 4 performers. You realize how these logistics go. Excellent. So anyway, tonight we're gonna play a little game called Veneta or Junction City. Those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. For those of you who are tourists or don't know the geography of the area, there's a little town to the northwest of here called Junction City, and there's a little town to the west of here called Veneta. And they're both unique and interesting places. And we are going to get 2 special guests up here to play Veneta or Junction City. And there will be a little prize at the end of it for the winner. Mike is going to be our special guest judge because he is from Veneta. In fact, it's pretty easy to say he's Veneta's funniest comic.
Why the fuck would you woo Veneta? Honestly.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy to weigh down bodies and leave them in the reservoir. That's got to say something for the town.
I told you that in confidence, asshole.
Sorry. See, that's why I figured he might stab me when this is all over. He's taking a risk here.
I never ditch a good knife after stabbing a friend.
Aw, thank you, sweetie. Yeah. So have you been up to anything interesting lately? Anything fabulous?
I live in Veneta, so no.
Okay, that's a fair answer. All right, so we've got a couple of special guests picked out for this, and we're going to see what happens. I see one of them right now carrying some napkins. He is our sound guy. He is the karaoke KJ. He is a fabulous person. Everybody, let's welcome to the stage Jeff. Our other contestant is the absolute maven of Slice, most everybody's favorite Slice tender. Everybody give a big welcome to Lou. All right, so this is how the game is played. Junction City or Veneta, this is how the game is played. We are going to read out a random fact, which is either about Junction City or Veneta, and then our friends here will show their card whether they think it's Junction City or Veneta. And for every right answer, every right answer gets a point, and whoever has the most points at the end of this wins a glorious prize. All right, Jen, are you ready to go?
I'm so ready. Let's do it.
All right, so there are going to be some situations where we're probably going to need a judge to help us out, and that's why Mike's here. He's a special guest judge. If we're not quite sure what the answer is, or if there's some technicality that needs to be arranged, need to be taken care of, Mike will take care of it for us as our special guest judge. All right, you all ready to play?
Yes!
All right, let's alternate these questions if you're down.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'll start. Except I have the wrong page of the script. You know, you'd think we have all this shit memorized in advance. Come on, I don't have my stuff that well together by any means. It's Temple the Bard we're talking about here. All right, this one is the town by the reservoir. Dun, 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 dun. Are we correct here?
I thought both had a reservoir.
Uh-oh.
Then we're correct.
They're correct.
Yes,
There's no
great
reservoir
job.
at Junction
Point
City.
for both.
1 point for each.
The town with the food trucks at the train station. Food trucks at the train station.
That's a point each. Excellent.
Yeah.
This is the town with that one Burger King. You know, the one that sells blow on the down low.
Make up your fucking mind.
I think our friends are correct here. 1 point for each. It's tied 3-3.
There's no Burger King in fucking Veneta.
God damn it. All right, no points for you. Thank you, Judge.
This town has the lady in the Daihatsu charade who sells chicken tamales on Sunday. Chicken tamales.
God damn it, I got excited for a second.
Yes, you are correct. That is Junction City.
Chicken tamales on Sunday.
All right, this is the town with the truck stop with the electrified glory hole. Recycled joke, you see. Oh, it's Junction City, and Jeff takes a 1 point lead.
All right. This town has 3 city council members named Dave. So a riveting fact. Riveting fact. Who knows the riveting fact?
I'm not sure. I've got to go to the judge on this one.
Okay, no. They don't even have a chief of police. They just send a fucking sergeant out there and said, you run this place.
Who knew?
Who
He
knew?
actually kind of looks like you. Except your beard is cleaner.
All right, well, that's not going to work. Jeff retains a 1-point lead. Here we go. The town where Temple the Bard went to an underground kink party and got flogged by a diabetic trans woman named Camaro. Oh, it's Vanita. We're back to a tie ball game here.
I love how proud he was of his answer, though. Like, you just shot your arm the fuck up there so fast.
I love the volley. Okay, this town is the town that elected, appointed, and impeached 3 mayors in 1 week in 1977.
Yeah, that's obvious.
This shit writes itself.
All right, this is a hard one here. This is the town where Jerry Garcia humped a hole in a tree stump for 3.5 hours back in 1973.
I think I've seen the tree you're talking about, but it's nowhere near high enough.
I'm sorry, the answer was Junction City. You'd think it's Veneta, and although he humped many things in Veneta over the years, it was a particular tree stump at his favorite acid dealer's house in Junction City which drew his most rapt attention. Back to a tie ball game here.
Where do you find this shit?
Just wait, there's more. Just when you didn't think it couldn't get more random. This town features a person named Larry who has the old pickup truck and the giant hole in his overalls.
I gotta go to the judge on this one. Do you know Larry?
There's like 15 fucking Larrys with that description in
Let's
Veneta.
just go with Vanita.
It's gotta be Vanita.
Yeah, it's gotta be Vanita.
Sean takes a 1-point lead.
Veneta has a higher ratio of those Larrys.
Okay, this is the town with a store that sells locks of famous people's hair and takes Bitcoin and Canadian money. Yeah.
It's true, people in Veneta think Bitcoin's racist as fuck.
How is Bitcoin racist?
They like to blame everything that's not actually racist.
Okay, typical Veneta. All right.
All right, let's keep making it weird. I'm just gonna say 3 words: transgender farm boy karaoke. Really?
Ooh, I thought that was in Veneta. Is that in Veneta?
That's not in Vanita?
They say it for NJC.
Okay. All right.
JC, who knew?
That's JC who knew. Tie ball game still. All right. Will Kennedy buys his jokes here at the farmer's market on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's see. This town has the most famous guy who played, the guy who played Les Nessman on WKRP in Cincinnati. That guy lives in Junction City or Veneta. Which one is it? Les Nessman from WKRP?
I'm sorry, this was a trick question. He lives in Coburg.
Damn it.
All right, we got a tie ball game with 2 questions remaining. All right, here it's just a pizza slice, but in this town, the Brussels hustle is an actual dance.
Junction City or Veneta?
Why do you look scared?
Oh, the Brussels hustle.
Okay. Yeah, that threw us off.
Before I could give you the answer, did you just have a stroke?
Yeah. We got a pizza called the Brussels hustle.
Honestly, you were twitching.
It takes a lot for me to process nowadays.
I forgot the fucking question because of your bit.
Is the Brussels hustle a dance in Veneta or Junction City?
Yeah, it's Veneta.
Good job.
Last question.
Okay, which town has artistic lesbian square dancing?
I love how someone in the crowd just went, I fucking know this one!
It's fucking neither one, but if there is one, I'm there. So if you heard about it, let me know.
Yeah, you gotta give us.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's see. We run out of the last of our questions, and we still have a tie. I think we're gonna have to break this tie with an extra special improvisational lightning round.
Perfect.
All right. This is the town where I dropped a piece of gum and stepped on it a week later, and I know it was my gum because of the color. No, it was Junction City. I went up there to see Seth and Angie. It was a good show.
Are we still in a tie? Okay.
Yeah, we're still in a
okay,
tie.
cool.
These two jokers keep flashing the same card every time.
Are you two planning this?
Oh.
One of these towns, it was either Junction City or Veneta. I literally slipped on a banana peel. Which one was it? Thank you back there.
All right, we got to go to you on this one. This is going to decide it.
Veneta!
It's Veneta! Our winner is Lou! Jeff, thank you very much for participating. You're going to get the Temple of the Bards talk show home game. And as for you, Lou, you win our grand prize tonight, which is, hold on, from the other side of this, a $20 gift certificate to Slice Pizzeria Bar. Hey, how about that? All right, everybody, let's give a big round of applause to Lou and Jeff. They were great sports. Thank you for being here today. And let's give a big round of applause to our special guest judge, Mike Lehman. Got anything to say before you go?
Thank you for having me to try and embarrass myself and call me out on every little fucking illegal activity I've done at home.
Well, at least I didn't call cahoots. Give me some credit for that.
Not this week.
Not this week, at least. Everybody, let's give a big round of applause for Mike Lehman. All right. Well, we're about to transfer into full-on talk show mode. Our next guests are two amazing public servants. Every day, they're gathering food, distributing food, cooking for people, organizing amazing food pantry shopping experiences. I used to volunteer at a food bank in Sacramento once in a while, and it was a really unfun, dehumanizing experience. Whereas when you come to these folks for food, it's like you're going to a grocery store where everybody knows your name. It's a warm, joyous experience, and it helps our underserved communities not only to eat, but every week to see that they're loved and valued members of our community. They run Burrito Brigade and Waste to Taste. I'd like to welcome to the stage Jen Denson and Amy Hand. Get a mic cover for you all here. These COVID protocols are a total laugh killer. I wish there was a funny way to go about that.
I'm sure there is.
I should have done that, probably. It probably was my job to do that.
Well, that's okay. I wrote the script 2 hours ago. We're figuring this out on the fly. Excellent. Let's see if that works. You all don't have to use it if you don't want. You can be loud. It's all good. We can all hear it. It's basically a living room. Excellent. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Full disclosure, I was briefly a volunteer with the Waste to Taste Irvington distribution. I had a lot of fun with that. Told jokes, made some new friends, occasionally would improvise a song and make an ass out of myself, not unlike what I'm doing here on stage tonight.
Wrote a couple poems.
Wrote a couple poems in the logbook. Here's this dates people, and then here's a poem from Temple, and then this dates people. Like I did to Seth's comedy book the other night. So tell us and the crowd a little bit more about what you do with Burrito Brigade and Waste to Taste and how you do it.
All right. Well, thank you for having us. I'm executive director, head boss, whatever they call me now, of Burrito Brigade. Waste to Taste was a project we started in the beginning of COVID because I wanted people to have the dignity to pick their own food and not be handed a food box that was prepackaged. So we are taking food that would be destined for the dumpster, 600 to 800 pounds of food a day that is being redistributed. We have 30 to 35 appointments a night, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And then Burrito Brigade still exists, making 800 burritos every weekend.
Wow. And how do you distribute these 800 burritos? Is it by lottery? Is it by a burrito cannon? How do you go about it?
Let me use the burrito cannon.
Okay.
So COVID made everything weird. It used to be like a awesome experience, like 10 or 12 people walking down the street passing out free burritos, because when you ask somebody if they want a free burrito, they usually say yes. But now it's kind of pods. Families will come and take burritos to the camps, Washington, Jefferson. Amy is an amazing host of a pantry that gets burritos every weekend. So we just kind of adapted when COVID happened, because food is a human right. And
Yeah, I'm right.
Amy is an amazing person who joined us in January and has been huge for our growth. So it's been great.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous to work with you both too. You're very patient, kind people. You're not like, take this damn burrito or I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. You know? Yeah. And so I was really struck by how the Waste to Taste program is run. I really enjoyed working in it. Maybe tell the people a little bit more about how that part of it has navigated and evolved over these months.
So what Jen was saying at the beginning was we started the Waste to Taste program with the onset of the pandemic. We found that the food that was being picked up from grocery stores before stopped being picked up. And so it was time for us to jump in, and that necessitated, what do we do with all this donated food that we're saving from the dumpster? And I started out in Jen's garage and on her front porch and into the little free pantries, which is how I got involved. I was a restaurant worker until March. And so the Waste to Taste program really is that we create grocery stores where people can come and shop for groceries, and it's free. So we have, gluten-free options and vegetarian and vegan options. It's all donated. And so there's a dignity to that when you can look at a person and not see them as like a person who's food insecure, as just a consumer, a shopper. And I think it's really respectful for folks to be able to choose their own things. And it's really it just keeps growing exponentially. We started with one location, we branched out and had a second location. We're supporting a third project in the Willamette Senior Center. We work with Black Thistle, we work with we don't work with Black Thistle, we work with Community Fridge, we work with Carry It Forward. Lots of other organizations we're able to give food to, and it's just pretty awesome, like networking.
And that's something I really love, is not only are you like rescuing food and getting it to the people, but you're keeping it out of the landfills too. But, even with your Herculean efforts, there have to be some tomatoes that spoil or some asparagus that wilts. What happens with the things that aren't picked out? What happens with the maybe less good-looking foods that maybe don't get chosen?
That's super awesome. We actually work with local farmers, and so all of our food that is the reason why it got to us in the first place ends up with pigs and cows and chickens, and people compost it, and it's just really closing the loop back into the chain.
That's great. Do you know these pigs personally?
I can't wait to meet them. They eat really well.
Excellent. Yeah, I know a few pigs. They drive around in these big old Ford Explorers. They wear some ugly uniforms. I'm not really into them. I prefer the people in the van. I mean, the people in the van are a little culty, and their secret handshake broke my finger last time I tried it, but they're doing good work. Right on. Yeah, Temple's drawing a blank here. Failure on my part. So, you're distributing things around here. I really love the little food pantries. The food pantries are cool. There's one just on the corner here. It's basically an old cabinet, and they drop by food on the regular. I see community members who would struggle to find nutritious, safe, accessible food, go through it on the regular and keep themselves nutritiously fed. How many of these little food pantry boxes do you serve throughout the Eugene-Springfield area?
So we have actually 39 pantries in the Eugene-Springfield area. We're adding 10 more in the Springfield area, especially in the downtown area where it is an absolute food desert.
Yeah.
We just are getting ready to site one on Broadway and Jefferson, so that'll make it 40.
Excellent.
We've got mine, which is right here on North Grand Street, has mushrooms on it. It always needs love because it's very popular. So any cans of stuff that you don't want to eat, you can just put them right on in there. So it's really cool. We got one in Florence just recently, and the Little Free Pantry project is, national, but Jen is absolutely the person that made it a reality here, and it's under the Burrito Brigade umbrella.
Wow.
And it's really
I
great.
have a question.
Yes, please.
So cans, what about boxes, like mixes and stuff, like anything unopened and,
Yeah,
right?
I think you have to think of the area and the traffic that each pantry gets.
Okay.
A lot of the pantries that are located outside of our neighborhood, really do well with canned goods and baking mixes and things like that. We find a lot of need for the pantries that are in this area to have more accessible, ready-to-eat items. Try not, we don't want people to put highly perishable things in, but peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are really popular, and they can sit in a pantry for a couple hours without the danger of someone getting food poisoning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we had
Hygiene products.
we had a family put a individually bagged Fruity Pebbles in quart bags and donated them. So that was kind of cute because the quart bag of Fruity Pebbles kind of goes farther. Maybe they bought a Costco bag and their kids didn't eat it, so then they thought about it and then they were able to bag it. So when I started this project in summer of 2019 of the Little Free Pantry part, so if you've noticed them nationwide, they're kind of like the Little Free Library. There's usually concrete and one post in a very small box. And so I wanted it to be different because I'm different. And so a friend and I had did a sketch, and that's when we did the sketch that you now see. And then at first I was like, oh, I want them all to be blue so they can all be noticeable. And then last summer the city of Eugene was like, hey, we have all this money to spend on summer projects that we can't spend because there's no summer projects. So we want to hire all these muralists to paint murals. And I was like, awesome. And then once that happened, I want all of the pantries to be murals. So if you have a talent for art and want to paint a Little Free Pantry, as Amy said, she has a beautiful mushroom one. We have some gorgeous ones. We have a Native American language one that is Broadway and Jefferson. There's a bee one that is 13th and between Chambers and Grant, that is all bee centered. She even did like little hive stencils. So I just wanted it to be different, but yes, like she said, we have 39. We got one in Florence, 10 will be coming in Springfield, and so it's been a great project for the last 2 years.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear you've got Springfield covered, Eugene covered, Florence covered, but I have to say, if you had to expand to another town, would it be Veneta or Junction City?
That's a hard toss-up. We do work with the Junction City Pantry host. She isn't part of our pantry, but we do give them some. But I wanted to say this as the volunteer coordinator for Burrito Brigade and Waste to Taste. If you want to get involved, you can find out a link on our website, burritobrigade.org. There's a volunteer button. You can click the Waste to Taste button and read about that. You can click the Little Free Pantry button and read about that. There's a form to fill out if you want one in front of your house.
Yup.
So lots of ways to get involved.
And I'm sure quite a few folks out here have the volunteer spirit, and those inboxes will be buzzing, but not everybody here is going to be buzzing you because they're looking to volunteer. I'm sure we have some folks in the crowd who are food insecure and whom very much could have their lives benefit from being a part of the Waste to Taste program. If I was sitting in this audience today and food insecure and my SNAP benefits weren't going as far as I needed, or maybe my household didn't qualify for SNAP benefits, but we were really struggling due to paying back rent or other things, how would we sign up for this in order to shop at Waste to Taste?
So just like she said, you'll go to burritobrigade.org, but you'll click Waste to Taste, and then you'll have an awesome drop-down menu that has a calendar. And so what I wanted to do when I started this project was no waiting in line, no nervousness about getting a food box. You go online on Sunday, you pick the time slot that works with your family, and then you have a time slot that is your time to shop.
That's amazing. So just to reiterate, if you want to get involved with Burrito Brigade or Waste to Taste, you go to the website and click volunteer if you want to volunteer, or you click sign up if you want to sign up, or if you want to hear let me try this again. If you want to hear a mediocre joke for the third time in an evening, you click electric glory holes. Almost had that. Awesome. Anything else you'd like to share with our amazing crowd tonight before we let you go?
I think we're good. Thank you for having us, Temple.
Jen and Amy, thank you for being here tonight. Let's everybody give a big hand for Jen Benson and Amy Hand. Awesome, thank you. So, we're not sponsored, but we do have a little bit of government intervention. Long story short, there's a script we're required to read by the Centers for Disease Control. We're going to do the best we can just to get this out of the way, and then we'll move on to our featured comic of the night. All right, everybody, here you go. Hold your nose. This is the mandatory lecture.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like the Delta wave of COVID is nearing its end, and if we're lucky, that'll be the last of it, other than pockets of isolated anti-vaxxers spreading it amongst themselves. Admittedly, it's going to be nice to get back out more and mask less, but we'll still need to keep our guard up because there are still a lot of diseases out there.
Yeah, we talked to our contact at the CDC, and what they said about the next pandemic, we're really, we just want to share with you guys. Surprisingly, she said the next big thing on the CDC's radar is anally transmitted disease.
Anally transmitted diseases.
Yes.
And tonight, as a public service, we're going to talk about what an epidemic of an anally transmitted disease might look like. COVID-25 might just start in a public place.
That's right. A rogue fart in a shopping mall, that could turn into a super spreader event, friends, in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm. Some idiot out buying a vacuum cleaner for his wife's birthday because he's a terrible husband ends up not only swimming in shark-infested waters, but ends up infecting dozens around him.
Yeah. At first it's a mystery, but soon the lab results are back and it's confirmed. COVID-25 is the world's new pandemic.
People start putting on masks and doing what they did during the previous pandemic, but it doesn't stop the spread.
Nope. That's when the county health departments start recommending we wear N95 underwear.
Unfortunately, that doesn't stop the spread either. Shortly thereafter, elders from the Mormon Church are called in as consultants.
Yeah. Because if anyone knows anything about convoluted preventative underwear, it's the Mormons.
However, the new and improved Provo chonies do nothing to stop the spread.
Yeah. A few days later, Dr. Fauci calls a national television press conference, and you can tell something's wrong by the look on his face. Temple, show everybody what Dr. Fauci's face looks like. And that's where we find out that since COVID-25 is it's really hard to say anally, you know?
I know. Blame me.
Anally, you just want to say anal.
Anal.
That's not, okay. As I was saying, and that's where we find out that since COVID-25 is an anally transmitted disease and farts pass easily through any and all fabrics.
Yes, America, when COVID-25 hits, we're all gonna have to wear butt plugs.
Yep. No wonder Dr. Fauci's face looks like that. Who'd have thought that Dr. Fauci, of all people, was a tight ass?
At first, the people rebel. At least most of the straight guys do. Because their internalized homophobia won't allow them to put anything even remotely near their own assholes.
Yeah. I mean, these guys don't even wipe out of fear the toilet paper will call them gay.
But after a while, even the so-called super straight guys get used to lubing up in the morning and taking one for the team before they leave the house.
Yeah. Just like the previous pandemic, our lives will change.
You're no longer allowed to back that ass up. Not in the club, at least.
Twerking will be banned, obviously. Because while you're shaking it like a Polaroid picture, your butt plug might fall out.
However, that'll just be a temporary measure because the CDC will eventually introduce twerk-proof butt plugs so you don't shed it when you spread it.
There you go. And everybody's going on high-fiber diets, okay? High-fiber diets, because who needs the runs when you're wearing a protective butt plug?
These days, people check your vaccination cards at the door when you go to an event.
But during COVID 25, they're going to be checking your butt plugs at the door.
Think warm thoughts, boy, because this is going to be mighty cold.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Keep going. Okay. Some people will wear skinny little decorative butt plugs thinking that that will protect them.
But it won't.
Turns out size does matter.
Uh-huh.
Some people, COVID-25 can penetrate the first 4 inches of anal defense.
Yeah, none of these shallow, narrow, skinny ones. You've got to wear the real thing. And you know it's an entertaining apocalypse when people start buying their medical safety gear out of the Mr. S catalog.
These days, some assholes wear masks with vents. You know, I've seen them. During COVID-25, those same assholes will be wearing gauged asshole rings.
However, unlike COVID-19, there won't be any controversy over whether or not the pandemic started at a laboratory or at a meat market.
Because there's really only one place a pandemic like this could possibly start.
Folsom Street Fair! All right, this has been a message for the Centers for Disease Control.
Thank you. That was fun. Hi, stepson. Hello. Hello.
Sorry, youngin'.
That was cool. I said anal a lot just then.
Anal. Hold on a second. Anal.
It's going to be my ringtone.
I'm not going to grab my nipple because last time I did that at work, I got written up. I'm still traumatized. So anyway, I would like to tell you all about our next guest on this show. He is an incredibly funny comic who has just been blowing me away ever since I came to Eugene. I love seeing him at the mics at his features. He's also a promoter who promotes, along with Burt Walpack, the Laugh Track Town series of comedy events. The next one is going to be next month, and it's going to be an amazing show. I forgot the date and time we'll talk about on the stage, but your headliner is going to be Derek Sheen, one of the funniest touring comics in America today. And that show will be hosted by your next comic. Let's everybody welcome to the stage Max Brockman.
Live from Slice Pizzeria in Eugene, Oregon. Please keep it going for your host, Conan O'Brien. Wait, that's the wrong host? Okay, let's try it again. All right, keep it going for your host, David Letterman. Oh, he retired? Okay, let's try it again. Keep it going for your host, Jay Leno.
No.
Everybody hates that guy? Okay, let's try again. Keep it going for your host, Stephen Colbert. Oh, that guy's boring as shit now? Okay, let's keep going. Keep it going for your host, Carson Daly. Nobody knows who the fuck, you know who Carson Daly is? Yeah, nobody knows, okay. All right, wait, let's try it again. Keep it going for your host, Johnny Carson. Oh, he's super dead, okay. We'll rattle off a few more. Keep it going for Samantha B. All right, hey Max, how was your set at Temple's show? It was great. I listed late night talk show hosts for like 5 minutes. It was awesome. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. Keep it going for your host, Temple the Bard. Yes. It was really cool. It's really cool to see like a unique, awesome show going on. One thing, I promise I will tell a joke at some point, but before we do that, usually at a talk show, you have a sign that says applause. And we don't have that here, but we do have a sign that says slice. So what we're going to do is whenever that light is on, we're going to applaud. That's the deal. Yeah, this is going to be a really great set. Just 5 minutes of just applause. All right, fine, we'll do a joke. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't say which plant, but I will say this. It starts with marijuana, and it ends with both of my arms stuck in Pringles cans. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't say which plant, but I will say this. It starts with marijuana, and it ends with me opening 20 stores and gentrifying the neighborhood. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna do this because I can actually see you guys. Yeah, let's do that. I feel like I'm playing football, but like really badly, so maybe for like the Beavers, I don't know. Okay. Alright, let's do that, and then, alright. I think being in a bad relationship is like being in a public restroom. You open the first stall and it's dirty. You open the second stall and it's filthy, and for some reason you would think when they open that third stall that it will love you back. That's not how it works. Let's see. Okay, this is weird. We're gonna try this again. So I'm what you call a sober person. There are two different types of sober people in the world. There's the type of sober person who never started doing drugs in the first place, and then there's a type of sober person who used to have fun. I am that type of sober person. I had someone tell me I must be bad at doing drugs because I had to stop doing them. It's the exact opposite. I am so good at doing drugs that I had to retire undefeated. Yeah, I'm like the Michael Jordan of drinking too much and stealing a penguin from the zoo. I'm so good. I used to leave myself notes when I was blacked out. I woke up with a note one morning saying, "Don't open your eyes." Yeah. I used to set up dates for myself when I was blacked out and then go on the date sober. It's like going on a blind date that I set up myself. Except the only thing I know about my date is what's on my notes. Like, she works at an aquarium and has a strong arm. Now, I like a girl with a strong arm as much as the next guy, but there's no aquarium in Eugene. So I go on the date, I find out this person works at a pet store and has a cast on her arm. And a can of Pringles on the other arm. That's the callback. I woke up from a blackout one time to find a gift card for Hobby Lobby. This is a true story. And I don't know how I got a gift card for Hobby Lobby, but 6 months later I had to buy an easel for a comedy show I was putting on. So I decided I'm going to use the gift card I have for Hobby Lobby. And to answer your question, yes, I felt bad about shopping at a homophobic store, but I found a way around it, which is this. When I'm done using my easel, anyone that wants to can have gay sex on my easel. And when I'm done using my easel, and every single one of you is done having gay sex on my easel, I'll return it to Hobby Lobby. And when I return it to Hobby Lobby, they're gonna say, "Sir, what is that on the easel?" And I'll say, "It's paint. It's white paint." I'm looking at you for this one. "It's sticky white paint." And they're gonna say, "Sir, you cannot return an easel with sticky white paint on it." And that's when I'll say, "I don't care if you return it, I just want you to hold it a little bit longer. Because there's cum on it." This guy told me that if I don't wear my helmet on my bike, that I could die. I told him I have died 3 times from drug overdoses. And you know what? Wearing a bike helmet only would have helped one of those times. I used to do drugs that destroyed my mind, my body, my spirit. Now I drink diet soda. So my health is exactly the same. What was the other drug joke? I went to a party. I was the only person at the party not on acid. Being the only person not on acid is like having superpowers. I was able to multiply and divide. I was able to not fall down a flight of stairs. I showed these people a magic trick. They tried to burn me at the stake. Luckily for me, one of my abilities is the ability to untie a knot made out of Twizzlers. I'm good at that. Okay, I've been trying to do this thing where I ask people if they've met a celebrity. I usually don't talk during a comedy show, but it's okay. It's been a weird show anyway, at least for my thing. Who here, now I can see you, who's met a celebrity? Hey, we can get a hand up, anybody? Have you met a celebrity? Temple.
Yeah, this baseball player, Jim Barr.
Okay, we got Jim Barr. Anyone else? Okay.
Sorry.
All right, I've been doing this thing where we get people, what celebrities they met, we have to do like a death battle. So I did that in Medford. We came down to Ron Jeremy and Tanya Harding, which is a pretty good one. But all right, well, I want to tell you guys my celebrity story. I've been trying to work on it. So I was in Eugene. I was at a Starbucks a few years ago, and a really interesting guy comes up, starts talking to everyone outside of the Starbucks. And I could tell right away, whenever he talked to someone, they were really not interested in what he was saying. So I was really interested to see what he was going to say to me. He finally came up to me and I was like, "Okay, man, I'm ready. What's up?" And he goes, "Do do you know who's inside the Starbucks right now? And I said, no, who? He said, Randy Johnson. And I said, who? I said, Randy Johnson is a Hall of Fame baseball player, played for the Yankees. And a side note, Randy Johnson is not known for playing for the Yankees, not known for anything. He's known for one thing and one thing only, which is killing a bird with a fastball during a baseball game. And it's over 12 million views on YouTube. So I had to ask him, like, man, why are you out here talking about Randy Johnson instead of inside a Starbucks partying with Randy Johnson? And that's when he said the one thing I will never forget in my entire life, which is this: the people inside of Starbucks don't think I should be in there anymore. That's when things start to crystallize in my mind. This guy got kicked out of Starbucks for stalking Randy Johnson. So he leaves. About 5 minutes later, a tall, muscular, mustached man walks out of Starbucks. I look up and I take a wild-ass stab and I say, Randy Johnson? Randy Johnson looks down at me and he goes, are you a baseball fan? I looked up and I said, no. Now, Randy Johnson had a look of terror in his eye. You can almost say it was the same look of terror and the look of a bird right before it's murdered with a fastball by Randy Johnson. And he had a look of terror for one reason only. Because he knew that if I didn't know him from baseball, I could only know him from one other place. He looked at me and he said, is that guy still here? So that's a story about the time I met a celebrity, Randy Johnson stalker. All right, let's tell one more joke and we'll keep this going. What joke? Oh, you guys want to hear a joke about, no, fuck, I'm just going to tell a joke. This is a fun thing. Okay, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting so distracted. Okay, my friend said that I walk weird. I don't walk weird. I walk according to what music I listen to at the time. Like when I listen to rock, I walk fast. When I listen to alternative, I walk slow. And when I listen to Coldplay, I walk up a cliff. Keep it going for your host, Temple the Bard.
Pull up a chair. Everybody, let's keep it going for our featured comic, Max Brockman, and welcome back to the stage, Jen J.
Jen J, everybody.
So Max, I owe you an apology. I didn't know you were going to be calling over to me when you're like, hey, have you ever met a celebrity, Temple?
I did not know I was going to be calling you.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, if I'd have just had a little bit more grace, I would have lied and not said a baseball player. And once I realized I was honest and talked about like the one celebrity I've ever met, I was like, oh fuck, I hope I didn't ruin the joke.
No, you're good.
Thanks. So yeah, it's great to have you here. I mean, when I got here a few months ago, I came here to Slice and just saw some of the amazing comedians: Seth Milstein, Jen J, Angie Bloomfield, Luke Miller, and you. It's like I know I did a little Bob Odenkirk joke. Joke.
You can jerk me off anytime.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, I just saw a little bit of his influence in your work. What are some comedians that have influenced you in your comedy and your presentation?
A lot of comics, especially Mitch Hedberg, growing up, Dimitri Barton, everybody. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's, I mean, I just love your presentation. I love your manic energy. It's always a joy to see you perform. And then, like, if you're like, hey, I'm doing some new jokes tonight, I'm like a little kid, like, oh my God, Max is doing good jokes tonight. I'm so happy.
And then I bomb for 5 minutes.
But that's the thing, though. That's what trying stuff out of the mics is about. You bomb for 5 minutes this time, and then you work it out, and then next time it's solid. The time after that, you're bored of it, you know. Yeah.
I think we should change the stigma around bombing.
You think so?
Yeah. Like,
Should be a good thing.
yeah. Like, it should be like, we should call it like,
I'm not going to make the joke.
I don't know. I'm just thinking off the cuff, like, something.
Well,
like
I mean, I think somebody tried to change the stigma around bombing a long time ago. His name was Henry Kissinger. I don't know how well he did with that, though. Yeah, so, we've all had some interesting gigs. This is going to go down as one of my interesting gigs. Like, do you have any stories about, like, crazy gigs that you've participated in the past?
Yeah, so I got one. The first time I ever hosted a show, this was years ago, was at Diablo's. Anyone remember that fucking bar? In Eugene, yeah, it was a bar in Eugene. There was basically a sex dungeon down in the basement.
That's what I remember specifically.
Yes, the BDSM parties. Did you go to any of those?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just saying.
So I was hosting a show. My first time I ever hosted a show was going to be Andy Andrews, who's like a better known name at the time. New Year's Eve in the Sex Dungeon, and at about 9 p.m. And it's New Year's Eve, so that means everyone's trashed by about 7 p.m. So I get there, we get down to the basement. I found out the entire audience is two groups. It's an exotic dancers bachelorette party and one random ass guy. So I talked to the guy before the show and he goes, I'm gonna heckle every one of the comedians except for you. And I was a narcissist, I was like, okay, that's fine, as long as you don't heckle me. So I go to host the show, I do a few jokes, some political shit, and then I tell a penguin joke. And I don't remember the penguin joke, it was not a good joke, but it was not offensive. The guy stood up and he just goes, what you just said about penguins, not cool. And I immediately shut down, I didn't know how to deal with that. And we did a 90-minute show in about 32 minutes.
You know,
How about you? Do you have any interesting...
Well, you know, I don't necessarily have any interesting ones like that. You know, I've rarely ever been heckled, and I'm like waiting for it. Every night I'm waiting for it.
You'll get your chance.
And the one time I've actually been heckled a little bit, I was in Medford a couple weeks back, and I did this joke. It's a real short one. I'll do it for you. So I went to the new cocktail bar downtown. It's really great. It's called Ampersand and Ampersand. And then the tag is like, yeah, this guy is here like, and? And then he looks at me, he's like, actually, ampersand in English may be a piece of punctuation, but in Latin, it's an actual letter of the alphabet. And I'm like, are you my first heckler? And he's like, I'm like, oh, I love you. Will you take a picture with me after the show? Like, I want to document my first heckler. You know, some people get, screw you, you're not funny. And I get, like, Latin grammar lessons. It's great, you know? To my Sacramento peeps out there watching this on video later, a little shout out to Damian Harmony here. A little remote video tag there. I'm a comic in Sacramento who's a Latin professor, really funny guy. Yeah. So we're getting to the end of this little interview segment. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Laugh Track Town series of shows you and Bert Walpack produced?
Yeah, me and Bert, we've been having, before the thing I'm not going to mention, we were doing a show for about 2.5 years monthly at First National Tap House. It was Eugene's longest running stand-up comedy professional showcase. It's going to be great. It'll be our 32nd show. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We had Temple on the last show. They killed it. Yeah, and then also one thing I want to mention, I'm gonna have a new open mic on Friday nights with local comedian Jamie Colson. In a couple weeks, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I believe Jamie Colson's in the crowd today.
Oh my God, Jamie Colson's in the crowd! A special guest appearance.
Yes.
But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
So I'm still not supposed to promote that? I saw it on Facebook the other night.
No, that's on Facebook. Now
Okay, it's on Facebook. Okay, I didn't know this time. Last time I'm like, I'm breaking the news of his secret show, and I'm like,
and it was not announced, and I was not here.
announced yet.
It's alright. I only got mad for like 5 minutes. Not with you.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, you know, I mean, if you get mad at your dentist, it happens. It always happened to me. I get mad at my dentist, you know, he'd crack something. You get mad at your dentist, he releases something too quickly, you know, it happens. All right, well, thank you for sharing the stage with us tonight, Max.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Let's give a big round of applause for Max Brockman. Excellent. So our last guest tonight is our musical guest, and she has been entertaining audiences from New Mexico all the way up the West Coast and through the desert for quite a long minute now. Let's give a big round of applause for Tender Desert Rat. And she's going to set up her own mic for this interview, if I understand correctly. You want to use that one? All right, cool. Great, works for me. Excellent. Great button.
Sorry.
Hello.
Well, welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you, Temple.
Yeah, so when we're done with this interview, it's going to be time for some amazing music. Definitely stick around. I'll be in the front row rocking my little head off. And how long have you been playing music as Tender Desert Rat?
Oh my goodness, I'll have to give away my age if I tell you that.
Well, we all know that you're like 19 years old in the prime of your life, of course.
Yeah, obviously. Well, I've been playing since I was 14. And you can all guess how old I am if you want. People normally don't get it right.
Awesome.
I'm older than you think.
Yeah, I've seen video of you performing with really large ensembles, and I've seen you bring a crowd down to its knees just by yourself. You're a very versatile performer.
Thank you, Temple.
Yeah. So what, like, have you had, like, I was asking Max about some of his favorite performances he's had, some interesting shows. Tell me about, like, a really interesting show that you might have had in your past and something interesting that might have happened.
Probably one of the most interesting shows was when I was hired as a singing telegram
Oh, wow.
with my partner, and it was happened to be on 420. Yeah, we got hired and put on wigs and costumes and somewhere in Seattle and went into their house, and it was a giant, foggy, dense, smoky place. And yeah, they were ready for us, so the people that knew that we were coming, and we came right on time, and they were just like, 420, and started lighting it up, and me and, yeah, my partner at the time just started singing and entertaining them. It was a great time, so yeah, that was probably one of the stranger ones.
Awesome.
Do you remember what costumes?
It definitely involved crinoline and wigs of various colors. And,
Fun.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
So I'm noticing some strategically cut holes in your ski cap tonight. Do you double robbing banks?
Oh my gosh, this ski cap, this
Uh-huh.
this cap, I was just explaining, has been in my life. My family since my older brother. I have pictures of him when he was maybe like 7 or 8 out hunting with it. So it's been around. This is a genuine hole.
So it's not the result of a tragic, unfortunate hunting
It is
accident.
not.
Yeah.
It's genuine.
I half expected you to say, yeah, that's how I got the plate in my head. Awesome. So tonight you're going to be performing solo, but I've seen you perform with musicians backing you. Do you have like a usual backing band, or is it more like you pick up who's available, go grab some randos out of the Whitaker who are busking, get them behind you? How does that work?
Well, currently I've been playing a lot with Berkeley. Berkeley isn't here tonight. Yeah, it's just been different everywhere I go, and whatever configuration happens to be around, and who I know. Berkeley has shown up a lot in random places around the country because they travel a lot as well. So yeah, it works out.
Yeah, our mutual friend Berkeley is one of Eugene's best fiddle players, just an absolute gem of a musician and a great person. I wish he could be here tonight.
Yeah.
And I actually, full disclosure, I backed you on bass on the gig
Yes.
a few months back.
That's very true.
Yeah, and I only screwed up like about 6 times
come
a
on.
minute.
It was
wasn't
amazing.
so bad.
It was amazing. Temple is an amazing musician. BTW, if you don't know that, it's true.
Awesome. So tell the crowd a little bit about what you're going to be performing tonight.
Yeah, tonight it'll be mostly original stuff that I've written over the past few years.
Awesome. That's great. No gratuitous Coldplay covers.
No,
Okay.
maybe a couple of
Probably for the best on that one.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there tonight.
Yeah, we don't want to make me cry or Max to let joke again. Sorry. Awesome. All right, well, we could sit here and banter for quite a while, but since Amplified Sound has to end at 10, I think that after the briefest of a couple minutes intermissions, you should be probably ready to rock this crowd, right?
Well, I may lull them a little.
Rock them, lull them, same thing.
Rocking.
As long as they keep buying beers and tipping their bartenders, we're going to be happy
Yes,
campers
do that,
around here.
please.
All right, everybody, stay tuned in just a minute for Tender Desert Rat. And but before then, I want you to give a hand to all of our amazing performers tonight: Jen Jane, Mike Lehman, Max Brockman, and we had Jen and Amy from Wasted Taste. And I don't know how to end these talk shows. I can't roll credits. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't have the ghost of Ed McMahon over in the corner going, "Hey-oh!" Which would be nice if I did. If I could have a personal ghost, it'd probably be Ed McMahon. He'd let me ride his ghost Clydesdales around. It'd be pretty bad. All right, everybody, just stand tight for Tender Desert Rat.
It's been a minute. flows through my veins. You look right through me to the bottom of my fears, and I guess that's got to be okay. One foot in front of the other, one hand's got to feed the other. I give you the heart straight from my chest. One dance, we dance together, this chance within forever, peering through the cracks in my brain. Here's to ya, 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 here's to ya. This is usually a violin or through ruffled feathers and enigmatic cheers, the moon still rises from the sea. And long after all there is to hear, our bones and our breath will still be free. One foot in front of the other, one hand's got to feed the other. I give you the heart beating in my breast. One dance, we dance together, this chance within forever, peering through the cracks in my vein. Here's to ya, 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 here's to ya. Dorian, the watcher of the sea. It wasn't always this way, they say, not how it was meant to be. But the end is so much different than this hyperbole that sometimes we forget we're all connected by the sea. Dorian, oh Dorian, I watch the waves roll by, one by one crashing in that spot where the earth meets the sky. So many lost souls lay in wait, mouths open to be fed, but mother's gone missing and she was all you had. Dorian, oh Dorian, the watcher of the sea. It wasn't always this way, they say, not how it was supposed to be. But the end is so much different than this hyperbole that sometimes we forget we're all connected by the sea. Dorian, the watcher of the sea. Time can get so slippery when you've got nowhere to be. Thoughts get slippery too in the mediocre dance of who says what to whom, apocalyptic romance. But Dorian, oh Dorian, tell me, can you see the stars? What the wild expanse of nothing and everything's got you up in arms. Look, Dorian, oh Dorian, peering over from afar, just like the breath that's taken, proof enough of what we are. is called the Pirate Song, or Long Live the Damned. Yes, they are. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is an original. Long Live the Damned.